One. This week, I wanted to give everyone a sneak peek of something that we'd been working on. So, I, like many others, have been using this time during COVID to go house hunting. I've been reading all this stuff in the newspapers and online about how, because of a rental house oversupply, lots of hospitality workers being out of work and therefore moving elsewhere to cheaper areas. Similarly, for tertiary students, no longer needing to go to classes in person and therefore no longer needing to stay near uni. And then a lot of overseas tertiary students not being able to come back to Australia. And also a drop off in overseas migrants. That there are opportunities in the housing market and maybe areas to avoid if you don't want to have a house in an area that could be impacted by COVID in case COVID is a permanent thing and that population never recovers. So I thought, where exactly are these areas and how do I get the data? So I started looking through the ABS data and trying to see whether or not I could get those fields in a way that's easily interpretable. And I and Adrian, who works with me, came up with this. So what we did is that we took ABS data, and this is from 2016. So there's lots of caveats to this work, and looked at areas where there's a lot of rental households, the proportion of the overall area, hospitality workers, tertiary students, and recent overseas migrants, rank them all from the highest proportion of rental households in the country to the lowest proportion of rental households in the country, and then aggregated those rankings and then ranked them all across the country into this metric that we call a COVID impact rank. So a way to read this is that Sydney Haymarket The Rocks is the third location in Australia that has the highest number of rental households, the highest number of hospitality workers, and higher tertiary students and high recent overseas migrants overall, once you balance out all those factors. Um, so it's been super interesting in terms of the results. I mean, there's been some more traditional areas that I thought people would know about, and that obviously the Bondi backpacker is having a bit of time, um, and you would expect to see more vacancies in Bondi. However, Parramatta Rose Hill also scored quite highly in this COVID impact rank that I didn't expect, and it's all driven by a lot of rental households and a lot of recent overseas migrants sort of land in this Parramatta Rose Hill. Interesting enough, where I currently live, this Lilyfield, actually, I live in Balmain, is actually also relatively high because of larger amounts of rental households and somewhat higher levels of recent overseas migrants compared to the rest of the country. So hope you find this interesting. This is, I think, previous sort of work we do. I plan to publish this and open up to the public once we finish this up a little bit. And it would be great to see and hear from any feedback that you have around what you've been seeing in your neighbourhood.